All right, I think I'm live. I'm not sure. Hopefully I am. Okay, hello everyone. Um, I was super busy today and I forgot. So I wanted to film this and today just got away from me. I can't believe it's already Thursday. My brain. So hello, welcome to the Pagan Perspective YouTube. I am Megan, aka Spiritary. Today is Thursday, and yeah, we are doing the live thing. So this week is all about which pagan holidays or which holidays in general. Yaka asked the question, which holidays do we decide to celebrate and which ones do we celebrate and kind of like what was that process like? So yeah, pretty much. Say hi in the comments if you are watching. I know a lot of people will probably be watching this on the replay just because I'm going live completely out of the blue. So yeah. All right. Hopefully the lighting is okay. It's probably not the best. It's gotten dark here so soon. So yeah. So all right. I'm getting an interesting view right now, but so holidays. Uh my holidays were basically just determined by my family and growing up, the holidays that we celebrated. And then there are secular holidays on top of that. So I'm going to kind of distinguish between the two. Actually, let's start with secular. I think that probably will be best. So for me, secular holidays are primarily ones that are traditional for America, the United States of America, as that's where I live. And so kind of grew up with a lot of those secular holidays. So, for example, I grew up celebrating the 4th of July. And it was just something that we all did, fireworks, things like that. Also grew up celebrating Halloween. That was definitely something as a kid, you go trick-or-treating. So it was something that we kind of shared the day. That day is shared with Samhain. I'm also going to use in this the kind of Celtic names for holidays that fall around the same time, because I think I've mentioned before that my family doesn't call them that. They don't call them Celtic names, but they fall around the different seasons. And so I kind of just use that as the way to talk about them. So Samhain, definitely. And I've talked a lot about that on this channel. Hello, I see people there. Say hi. Let me know you're there. And then, so my family currently, we are trying to incorporate a few different things because my wife grew up Catholic, and for her, the tree is really important and things like that. And so we've actually separated out. We've separated out the winter holiday into two. So I grew up celebrating the solstice, and that was really important and wanting to continue that. And at the same time, we wanted to be able to have sort of that traditional tree and presents and Santa, and have that be sort of its own day too, on more of the traditional Christmas time. So we made it for our family, which is very new, which I didn't grow up with, but we've decided that we're going to have solstice. So our solstice happens on the solstice. And then we also are having on the 25th of December, we also do Yule. So for us, we have kind of two holidays back to back, and it's kind of nice because you do the more religious kind of side of the holiday, solstice, and then you have the fun kind of presents and stuff side of the holiday a few days later for Yule. So that's what we do. So we have a Yule tree. We have, Santa. So when we have kids, that's what they will grow up with. Which is a little different than what I grew up with. And I like that. I like that we're creating our own traditions, and that we have our own idea of what we want for our family. So I think that that's really special and cool. So let's see. So one thing that I did that is secular for America, but or the United States of America, I should say, is that I personally, that my family has not the best time with. Some of my family do celebrate Thanksgiving, but some of us do not. We do call it just, it's a big meal. It's sort of our harvest meal, because the concept of being grateful is wonderful. But Thanksgiving, we kind of talk about it as it was a going away party for for the white man. So it's because part of my family obviously is white, and the other part is Kanesitake, and spending summers on the reservation growing up. It's not something that is looked at super highly. However, my reservation is up in Canada, and so it kind of had a disconnect because the dates were different, so it didn't really connect the same way. But we still didn't jive with it. Certainly not the whole Pilgrims and Indians thing around Thanksgiving. So that wasn't cool for us. The idea, though, of having a big meal with friends and family has always been a wonderful thing. And that's a tradition for us in many ways, for Samhain feasts and for everything we do. Having a big meal with friends and family is just something that we've done always. Trying to think other holidays. We definitely celebrate most of the wheel of the year, Aspets and Sabbats. Like we celebrate most of the kind of secularized pagan elements of these holidays that Christians have, I wouldn't say appropriated. They certainly haven't appropriated it. It's not something that's like just recently. But when Christianity was first coming into play, the old pagan traditions, we're talking about folk traditions here, they didn't do away with them because people would have revolted, or they just wouldn't have followed the new Christian ways. And so, having things like the bunny and baskets with eggs and a tree. In fact, actually, do you know that in the Bible, and it's Jeremiah something, I don't remember exactly what it is, but the Bible actually strictly forbids Christians from taking a tree from outside, shaping it, making it the classic tree shape, and decorating it with gold and silver and standing it up in their house. Like it specifically references exactly that and tells them not to do that. So, Caleb, yes. So when they say that it's, that a Christmas tree is all Christian, is Christian, it's for Jesus's birthday and all of that. It's like, no, actually the Bible specifically says not to do that because it's a pagan tradition. It's about bringing the light in. And so, hi Deborah, hi Caleb, hello. I know I've got to figure out a way to let you guys know I'm going to do this, but honestly, I decided like 2 seconds before I did this that I was going to do this. So, Heather says plenty of Christians who wouldn't have a tree because they were so afraid. Yeah. Well, then, you know what? Those Christians who are not having a tree are actually following the Bible. So, Caleb loves pointing that out. Yeah. I think it's very interesting. So, and I like how it's interesting because especially, as a gay woman, I oftentimes get told by, very fundamentalist Christians that, the Bible speaks out against homosexuality and says that it's wrong and an abomination and all of this, right? And so then I feel like, well, if you are following that part of the Bible, why aren't you following the rest of it? Why is it okay to believe that part and not the other parts? So, pointing those things out, I think is good. And that doesn't mean they can't have a tree. Have a tree. I have no problem with pagan customs. They were around, folk religions around from the dawn of people in time and celebrating the seasons and all of that. And, to have kind of a hold on those traditions, I don't care about that. It's, if you want to use the tradition, that's great. And if you don't, that's okay too. I just, own where it came from kind of thing. Like at least acknowledge like, yeah, that's where it came from. Caleb, thank you. Yes, exactly. So yeah, so those would be holidays. I'm trying to think. Midsummer, definitely. Um, I I also celebrate. I really love the tradition, and this is not something that I grew up celebrating, but I started to as I got older, and I incorporated it in is Bifana's Day. Um, it's really beautiful. And for me, I love extending kind of the holiday, the winter holiday season out as much as possible. So between solstice and Yule and Befana's Day, it's like you get to have a lot of the holidays all throughout. And I'm sorry to shook the computer there. You get to really spread out the holidays, and I love that. Um, so it just makes the time of year so much nicer, and I love decorating for it, and it's fun. It's been hard though, for sure, this year because of moving. Last year, being in the past couple of years being in Maui, it the seasons don't change the same way. And so it's been one of those things where feeling fall here in Oregon and feeling, the leaves are changing and it's getting colder and it's really feeling like the season, and it makes me want to, start decorating. It feels very solsticey, very Yule. And I don't know, found myself getting into it, even though I'm trying to, nope, just do it one holiday at a time. um, hello. Oh, Angelo. Hello, Angelo. Hi, you're catching live. We're just talking about holidays. Yes, Deborah, yes, it's Befana's Day is an Italian holiday. So Befana is basically kind of like the Italian Santa. In fact, some historical writings say that the whole concept of Santa is sort of a amalgamation, like a mashup of a bunch of different historical figures, and Befana being one of them. So Befana, will ride on the broomstick and fill stockings for Italian children. And I think it's really beautiful. And Heather says, yes, reinterpreting the seasons. Yes, exactly. When you're in a hotter climate, or even if you're like in the southern hemisphere or something and switching things around, anytime that you're in a climate that doesn't follow sort of that idea that we have for, okay, winter being cold, if you grew up sort of in the northern hemisphere, that idea, you have to kind of readjust, right? And I'm sure I can't, I've never lived in the southern hemisphere, so I would love for somebody who has or who currently lives there to speak about it. What is that like to have sort of all the media and all of the kind of representative, ads and TV and literature and everything talking about winter being cold and the time, for the seasons to kind of winter to slumber, when winter in the southern hemisphere is hot. So what is that like, and how does that sort of work? Or is it more that the winter, so it's the winter holidays we associate, but then your winter is a different time. So the holidays are switched. It's interesting to me. And I'm just wondering what that must be like when the media, movies and things like that are all showing it one particular way. And does the media that's specific, like in Australia, for example, do Australian movies change things up? Do they speak about it as if, Christmas for Christians is in December, but December is summer? Do movies in Australia follow more that line? I would just be so interested to know. I could look it up, but it's just dawning on me now. I think it would be fascinating. So, yeah. So those are pretty much the holidays that I celebrate. I'm trying to think if there's anything specifically that I do celebrate differently than that. Not particularly. There are a few like family special holidays with ancestors and things like that, but there's no major holiday. There's nothing that we would like decorate for or something like that, other than just ritual and veneration. So really the big ones kind of follow, fairly closely what you see around. Definitely, I don't veer too far from all of that. Definitely different names, I would say. And sometimes the days are a little bit different, but nothing too major. And I think that that's really good. Raising a family too, I think it'll be really nice. And pretty seamless. I didn't have a lot of problems growing up with it. It was definitely, different to have different names for things, but when you still have Santa if you are going to bring that tradition. So I still did as a young person, as a child. Young person is what I like to call children as well, because they're people. They just happen to be younger. And, so Santa, and we'll be continuing that tradition on as well. And so I didn't really have anything that my peers didn't have growing up. So I didn't really feel particularly left out. I was always very, very fascinated, though, with other religions' holidays. I always found them fascinating. I had a few Jewish friends, and sometimes I would get to go over to their house. Sometimes during Hanukkah, and that was beautiful. Their traditions are just so beautiful and so ritualistic, and just it's very, very powerful. So yeah, I would say that's pretty much it. Yeah, definitely in the comments, let me know if there's some specific holidays you celebrate, or I keep shaking my shoulders and it shakes the whole computer. My apologies. Yeah, I think that is probably it for today. Probably pretty simple. I mean, I still managed to be like 17 minutes of a live. I don't think we've ever gone less than 10 minutes for a live. But yes, so I think that's it for this week. And next week, I have no idea what it is. I'll have to look it up. Find out what we're talking about. If I do go live, I tend to go live later, like toward the evening. But this is the latest I've been live in a while, and I probably won't do this again. I like to try and go live a little earlier. I just completely forgot. I've been so busy. And we had roofers in the house too, and my skylight up there, it's like, look at the plywood. It's apparently going to take 2 weeks for the new one to come in. So I don't know. All right. But that's about it for today. I hope that you all are having a wonderful week and you have a fabulous rest of your week. The last day of standard week, I guess, and before the weekend. Deborah, thank you. Mahalo. All right, so I'm going to sign off and wish you the best, and blessed be, and aloha. Bye for now.